Hey, what's up YouTube? This is the Mermail Master coming at you guys from the Team Time Riders YouTube channel with an update on my Mermail deck. This is post Maximum Crisis, so I've done a little bit of tweaking and a little bit of updating, and this is the first list that you're going to also see post Bryanak. I really wish I still had my DT Bryanak. I ended up trading it for the Super Diva, which I believe I mentioned in a previous video. So while it's a little bit kind of bittersweet for me, I am happy that Bryanak is back and he's ready to rumble. So this deck is now the first time in a while that I've gone over 40 cards. It's currently 41, and I took out the Frog Engine and added in a couple of other cards. I'm still missing a couple of things, and I want the time to fully test with cards like Ghost Ash and other awesome things that have released from the set, but I haven't been able to get my hands on them yet. Nevertheless, I am looking forward to bringing you guys this deck profile, and without further ado, let's get going. So, first we're starting out with 3 Megalo. This is up from 2 from the previous build, but this guy is the main OTK enabler and combo maker. Searches a card from your deck to your hand. Abyss Sphere, when he's summoned, you ditch 2 waters, which triggers their effects, and then he can also attack twice on the field, which is really good. To support Megalo, we have 3 copies of Mermail Abyss Teus. Very, very great card. Instead of Megalo, only requires 1 discard instead of 2, but the reason I like to have him here at 3 is because he's a level 7 and he contributes to the OSHA plays, which you run very often in this deck. So that's Teus. Teus and Dragoons, I will mention, is a very, very potent combo. And now we have 1 Mermail Abyss Pike for those level 3 searches. I still really am not a fan of this card. It used to be a staple at 3 in previous Mermail decks that were a lot trap heavy and, were popular around the year 2014. So I'm actually thinking about taking this part of the level 4 engine out entirely, just because there's not really anything good to search with it. You're not like grabbing Undyne anymore. You're just grabbing like Pike. You're grabbing Marksman and just Gund or like some other things. But yeah, he's in there just for the hell of it. And then 1 Abyss Mander for the OSHA combo, which is very, very strong. And then I cut the Abyss Gun number down to 1. It was clogging a little bit too much at 2. And I replaced the Abyss Gun, actually, with 1 copy of Abyss Hild. I'm testing her out currently because any way that you send her to the graveyard, you basically get the effect. So, like, you could send this from deck, then Gun goes from hand, and, for instance, Litten goes from field. So you have, like, the Mermail level 3s occupying all places and going from the graveyard from a variety of different locations. But this is really good if you ditch this off of the Abyss Teus. You can ditch Hild off with Abyss Teus. Abyss Teus will search OSHA, and then Hild will resolve and special summon the OSHA that you just searched to the field, which allows you to go for that double Toad combo if you have Aqua Spirit without even using your normal summon. So really, really good. So that's it for the Mermails. Now moving on to the Atlanteans. We've got 3 copies of Mermail, or Atlantean Prince. The main guy who you want to see, always got to run him at 3. Don't run him at any less. Now we have 2 Infantry, 2 Marksmen, and 2 Dragoons. A lot of popping and stuff occurring in the formats lately, so keeping Infantry there, and then also having Marksman for a lot of the face-down spell and trap cards, pop and trigger like Paleozoics or whatnot. Very, very good. Now, moving on to other water monsters, we have 3 copies of Aqua Spirit and 1 copy of Silent Angler, the brand new card that just came out of Duelist Saga. I actually only have 1 of these, so when I get another one, I'm going to do 2 Aqua Spirit and 2 Angler. But really good rank 4 enablers, both special summons. Angler does have the effect that when you special summon, you can't special summon from your hand anymore after that. So usually you're going to want to go through an entire string of plays and then get Angler last. But all in all, just testing out with it, seeing how it works. It's been working well so far, but there's still a little bit more testing. It does make going into Trish plays a lot easier, which a lot of players are taking Trish out of the deck due to the fact that it is not as potent for the amount of cards that you're putting in for it, which, you know, I don't think anyone thought they would ever say. Next, we have one copy of Moon Glacier for those other plays. A lot of players are taking that out as well. And then finally, Deep Sea Diva for the water monsters. Pretty self-explanatory. Run the super, not the ultra. The super's better in every way. And then finally, for monsters, we have one copy of Max C. Gotta have it at the 1. Now moving on to the spells. 3 instant fusion for those northern plays. Very, very strong. I thought about adding in a Sea Monster of Theseus to go into Brionek easier, and haven't been able to get my hands on one yet, specifically for a price that I'm interested in. It is a hot card at the moment, but looking forward to testing that out when the time comes. Then we have 2 copies of Moray of Greed, just to recycle the hands. Pot of Desire is going out of favor in Mermails right now for, I'm not sure what reason. I've never really liked the card, as you guys know, but it's glad to see that other players are finally seeing the light. Brand new to this deck build is 2 copies of Forbidden Chalice. This was in the side deck before, but I decided to main deck these because they stop Dryden and they stop other plays. They'll stop the artifacts from triggering. They can shut down a Crystal Wing to prevent the negation. Just basically taking down like one of your opponent's cards and then just ensuring that that card will not activate. So it's really, really beneficial to have, specifically for those quick effects, and you've got to have it. Next, we're running 2 copies of Dark Hole and 1 copy of Raigeki. Shoutouts to my first ed LOB here. Still, hopefully, this one will become one soon. Right now, it's just a Dark Beginnings one. But I have these. This Mermail build is optimized for going second. As I mentioned, I took out the frogs, so they're not really in the deck anymore. I still do run the double toad, double Bahamut combo, but the frogs, you know, a lot of times they were more dead than they were alive, and I just wanted to increase the sort of ceiling with this. Do note that you can take out the dark holes for Twin Twisters depending on the matchup that you're going against, but I like them in here first and foremost as just a little bit of monster removal. Now for the final cards, we have 1 copy of Abyss Skeleton Mizuchi. I'm thinking about taking this out for Cetus. Cetus has always been one of my favorite ones. Actually, shout out to Cosmic King for giving me the idea to run Cetus in the deck, but Mizuchi's good for shutting off those spells and increases the skill ceiling of Gaios on the field and like what it can negate if you boost up its attack power. Also searchable by Megalo. 1 copy of Soul Charge, pretty self-explanatory. Get everything back. Great if you're going first. And then for the final spells is 1 for 1 for grabbing those Neptibus right out of the deck. And only 1 trap card in the deck right now. We have a copy of Imperial Order, which just came off the list. Pretty much doesn't need any explanation. Very, very fantastic card, and glad to have it in here. So that's it for the main deck. Now, moving on to the extra deck. For the extra deck, I am running... Actually, yeah. For the extra deck, I'm running 1 copy of Tatsunoko. Pretty self-explanatory. And now, for the main card, which is Brionek. Brionek is in here for the first time and is a fantastic card. I think, like, when I got into the game originally, the errata, what the errata for Brionek was what I originally thought the card was able to do. So they basically took out all of the ways that you could abuse Brionek, and then just put the hard ones per turn on there. You discard any number of cards to target any number of cards your opponent controls, bouncing back to the deck. But they ban Brionek right before Mermails ever drop. So this is the first time that we're getting to play with Brionek in the deck, and it's fantastic. Great going second, triggers all your Atlanteans and Mermails effects, and it's just an all-around versatile card for easy and quick spot removal. Next, we're running a copy of Coral Dragon. For a little bit more versatility, that draw is very, very good. And sometimes if you just want to destroy one thing on the field, you need the tuner access to Coral Dragon as well. He's not as like blowouty as Brionek, but he's useful in a lot of different ways. Next, for the final synchros, we have, of course, one copy of Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Fairy. Gotta have Trish in the deck. Now, of course, for fusions, we got one Norden. Self-explanatory. And now, moving on to the XYZs. So for XYZs, we're running one copy of Gaios, one copy of Big Eye, and recently added back in is one copy of Dracosac. I'm not really sure why more Mermail players are not running this card, specifically because Dracosac finds itself in a format where it's actually useful again. Like, the zoo boards that are built, and like paleo boards and stuff like that, are not, strictly speaking, like free. Or they're strictly speaking like free builds, but they're not like totally destroyable. So it's like, instead of using your entire hand to assemble an unbreakable board, you just use one card in your hand, a Terratop, to assemble a massively free board with like a Dryden Pop. But, you know, it is vulnerable to that spot removal, and the only kind of interaction it has with your opponent is one destruction effect on your opponent's turn. And Dracosac can kind of, you know, help to board you, especially if you're going first. It's a good first turn play in a deck that largely lacks that ability. So that's super, super good. And then, of course, we've got the normal ones. We got Silent Honor Arc is still in here. One copy of Castel. Dweller is going to become very, very popular in this era with True Kings coming up. And so you guys should watch out for that. I'm thinking about throwing a second Dweller into the deck. And also, yeah, kind of wish this would come out in Ultimate as well. But Dweller is a very, very good card, and you guys should definitely think about picking up a second one to run. It also allows you to detach for like Dragoon's effects as well. And then finally, for the last combos, we have the double Bahamut and the double Toad, rounding it out at 15. So that's it for the extra deck. And now, for the first time in a while, I have a side deck. I just assembled this recently based on what I feel will be good in the format. So I'm going to just get into this and explain to you guys some of the stuff that I'm running here. So starting off, we got 2 Mask of Restrict. Really, really great card. Going to be, I believe, very good with the True Draco stuff. I have to find some way to shut down the field spell so that you can keep Mask of Restrict around for a longer amount of time, but shuts down the Draco, shuts down the Kaijus. Kaijus are a very, very big problem for parts of this deck to have to deal with, specifically when they do that to your Toad and board wipe you. But yeah, Mask of Restrict is super good. Then I've got a copy of Anti-Spell Fragrance in here. Do run a good number of spells, so sometimes I sideboard this in alongside the Imperial Order, and that nice 2-card suite can really do work against your opponent. Next is 3 copies of Imperial Iron Wall, the budget option for stopping dinos, stop the Miscellaneousaurus banishes, stop, pretty much like shut down the Masterpiece, like banish the pop play. Very, very good card. You got to flip this up as soon as you get it, though. And it is only good in a couple of matchups, so it's not as versatile. 2 copies of Royal Decree for the Paleo matchup. Pretty self-explanatory. And then 2 copies of Retaliating Sea. These will probably come out for Ghost Dash, but they're really good because when your opponent activates a spell card that includes the effect that special summons a monster, you special summon it, and then any card sent to the graveyard is automatically banished. And when this card gets sent to the graveyard, you can search Maxi from your deck to your hand. So, pretty versatile. Then here is where, of course, those 2 Twin Twisters were. You can switch them out for the Dark Holes at any point, depending on who you're playing against. And like, I feel like that's like a really, really easy sideboard that you guys can do, and just keep it like that. And then finally, for the last 3 cards in the deck is a playset of Gameciel. Kaijus are strong. I think that Mermails in this format have a lot of moving parts, so sometimes it isn't as advised to keep them in the main deck. But have them here in the side deck for certain matchups that you'll happen to go against, and are just an all-around very, very strong card. So yeah, that's it for my Mermail deck profile. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please remember to hit that like button and rate, comment, and subscribe on our videos for more awesome content from Teen Time Riders. This has been the Mermail Master with the Teen Time Riders YouTube channel, and I'll catch you guys next time. Out. Peace.